What's up guys, today I'm going to tell a story that I get asked about a lot but I've never talked about. Now I finally feel ready to share that story with you guys, and I would really appreciate it if you watch the whole video, as this is the most important video I've made so far. There's also an opportunity for you to get direct and personal feedback on your music from me. But as always, one of the first 500 commenters will win a free mastering done by me, but I won't shut up now. Let's dive into it. A little backstory. Long story short, 5 years ago, when I was still a teenager, I signed to Spinnin' Records as the first Norwegian ever, which was a dream come true, and my career started doing better and better. I began touring the world, playing festivals and clubs everywhere from England to Kazakhstan. But this made me realize that I was in a position where the only thing that separated me from achieving my dreams of becoming one of the biggest artists in the world was myself and how good my music was. I also now had a record label, a management, a publisher, a booking agent, and most importantly, fans who I did not want to let down. How I responded. I put an insane amount of pressure on myself. I barely slept and was in the studio all day, every day. I didn't take a single break and I was obsessed. I started making music that I thought my record label or my management or my fans would like, and I ended up not really enjoying making music. Then the music just sounded forced and bad, and I just didn't understand why. And when I showed the people around me my music, luckily they were honest and said it doesn't sound as good as it did before. But that made me feel even worse, and I felt like I just lost it. I just felt really lost. I started comparing myself to other artists, and I felt like I just sucked. I kept trying to stay relevant and grow my audience on social media, whilst at the same time I was struggling to make any good music. This was back in 2016, and I even moved to the Netherlands for a while to try and switch things up and see if that would help me creatively. I hit a low point where there was a time period of almost 2 years where I really wasn't happy, and I was in a dark space mentally. Why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is because this is normal. I felt alone in that time period, but I've learned with time that I wasn't alone at all. Mental health still isn't talked about enough in this industry, even after the well-known battle that Avicii faced with his mental health before so tragically taking his own life. I'll link the Tim Bergling Foundation below as well. But sadly, in recent times, superstars like Keith Flint, Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, and too many others have taken their lives. And it's even more difficult to go through these things while you're young. Undoubtedly, many of you watching, musicians, producers, artists, DJs, and other creatives will have experienced some very tough times with your mental health. In a 2018 study from the Music Industry Research Association, it was found that 50% of musicians reported battling symptoms of depression, which was more than double the percentage of people who suffer with depression in the general population. 12% of those surveyed reported suicidal thoughts, which is 4 times the percentage found in the general population. According to a separate report by Britain's leading independent music charity, Help Musicians UK, those working in music may be up to 3 times more likely to experience depression compared to the general public. Other widely cited studies have shown that 73% of independent musicians have at some time battled with anxiety, stress, and depression. And I'll put these links in the description if you want to read more. What can impact a musician's mental health? The life of a professional musician is often filled with loneliness. As an artist, even when you're surrounded by friends and caring team members, it can often feel like you are the only one who is experiencing what you're experiencing. The immense pressures to perform and achieve, the constant self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and the fear of failure, the fear that you have peaked, and just like the constant pressure to create something even better than what you've made before. It can be difficult to believe that there's anyone around you that can truly understand what you're going through, and that can create a huge sense of feeling alone. The workload of an artist never ends, with writing, recording, releasing, and promoting music whilst touring and traveling across different time zones, and the need to constantly update social media whilst trying to please everyone around you. It makes it almost impossible to maintain like a regular schedule of sleep, diet, and exercise, let alone have any sort of a normal social life and personal relationships. It's just a recipe for a terrible state of mental health. And often in music venues, at festivals, in studios, and other professional working environments for musicians, you're surrounded by drugs and alcohol. There is something to be said about the fact that artists in general are probably more prone to suffer with mental health issues, with the more creative and the more right-brained people often choosing to become artists. There are so many reasons for this. your work can sort of feel like your sense of self, and achieving and maintaining success requires a ridiculous amount of self-belief. And in order to get there, you will have to fail so much on the way. Artists' careers are highly unpredictable, and it's never a smooth ride. The up periods are always followed by downs. And the work that we pour our heart and soul into, often spend days, weeks, months, and years creating, is put out into the world to instantly be given feedback on. And we read and we see all those comments, both good and bad. I have a lot of friends and peers in the industry who secretly struggle, and it fills me with sadness and anxiety when I think that I've had to talk friends out of suicide more than once. And it's often the ones who you think it would never be, the ones who appear the strongest and sort of always have a smile on their face. How did I pull myself out of the darkness? So, what helped me out? Now, one of the main things that helped for me was finding the courage to talk openly about it with friends and family. And I know it can seem very daunting at first, talking about mental health. It really can feel like a huge burden after keeping such heavy thoughts for yourself. Like, the burden off your shoulders is crazy. And if you don't feel comfortable talking about it with friends and family, then there are thankfully now quite a lot of mental health hotlines out there that you can speak to, and it's call with trained experts pretty much immediately and completely confidentially. I'll put some links in the description below to a bunch of amazing mental health resources, including these free hotlines. And another thing that took me a long time to get to grips with was taking better care of my body. I started setting aside fixed times to work out and to keep my body physically fit, and started eating at normal times every day, as well as being more careful with my diet, like less junk food and more healthy choices. I started taking breaks away from music and all the other work around it. I realized that just like always having the lever switched on, it was wrong, and it's important to take time off to let myself breathe, to be able to reflect and come back refreshed with new ideas and new motivation. I tried to minimize all the all-nighters, and I got into a better discipline with my sleep patterns, so I've been trying to get at least 7 hours of sleep regularly and being awake during the day in order to actually see some daylight, which I never did before. I also had a realization of what's really important to me. Getting the balance right with spending time on my career, but also creating enough time in my week to catch up with friends and spend time with my loved ones. When I started, I didn't realize how important it was for your mental health to take care of your body. But it's sort of a difficult paradox to understand that, or at least it was for me, that if you spend more time taking care of your body, you will actually be able to focus better, think clearer, be more creative and productive, and just overall be more productive during the time that you're actually working. I also had a break to reassess my career where I didn't release any music, and sort of took a step back, which was super important to me and what I wanted to achieve, like sort of figure that out. I started reading books and I took some time to reflect. But most important for me was talking to the people around me and being able to be honest, daring to open up and to be real about your thoughts and feelings. It can be super scary, but it's necessary. I can't stress how important it is to talk about it. So I wanted to be completely open and honest with you guys in this video. So many people struggle in silence and they put on a brave face, but I'm asking you, if you are struggling, to please speak up. And if you think you know someone who is struggling, please speak to them. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how they're really feeling, and let them know that you are there to speak to and that you really care. It makes me so happy, and I think it's so cool when I see people in the comments and on our Discord server who dare to speak out about mental health and dark thoughts. I felt the same way. Fortunately, I realized that I had to take 2 steps back to figure out how to become stronger, and I was lucky enough to have the right network support around me. The reality of a musician's career. I want you to realize that it's normal to feel defeated sometimes, and it's completely normal to fail, because success is what happens when you keep moving, even though you received 1,000 punches in the face. No one who has ever succeeded has done so without failing many times before they achieved their success. And it's even more important to understand that we're all human, and what you see on social media is very cleverly edited to show only the best parts, and it's just so far away from anyone's true reality. For instance, I spend hundreds of hours on each song that I make, and not even 10% of them get released ever. I've had so many people tell me my music isn't good enough, and record labels reject my music. But rejection is something you have to get used to in this industry. It's not so fun or inspiring, and it's not something an artist is going to brag about on social media. How much time they've spent getting frustrated and wasted. Similarly, I can spend days on end with each YouTube video, and some will even get scrapped and never be uploaded. I've made countless mistakes and lost so many hours on projects that just never happened. But obviously none of this gets showcased ever, and it's rarely talked about by artists. They just want to show you all the best and exciting parts of their careers, which could be just 1% of the reality. Nobody gets it right every single time, and even though it can seem like it with the big artists, they do have big teams around them that manage their social media as they would manage a brand, only showing the most glamorous and aspirational content. But just because someone is having success and they're living sort of an envious lifestyle, it's still very possible that underneath it, the reality of their lives is a lot darker, lonelier, and full of fears and worries. I won't shut up now. So this time, I won't shut up. If you've watched a bunch of my videos, you'll know that I've gotten into a habit of saying, but I'll shut up now, a lot. But I'll shut up now, 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 let's dive into it. But today I'm flipping this into I won't shut up, because this is something that we need to talk about. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but we have to learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it can literally be a matter of life and death. It can be the end of your career if you don't learn to look after yourself and to look out for others. We have an amazing community, and we can create a safe space for anyone struggling, to be able to speak up and for people to find the support that they need. And now with the pandemic making it difficult for everyone, and especially musicians who are unable to work, I felt like I needed to tell my story and help out as best as I can. So this is my first time doing any merch. I've always wanted to wait to do it right and do it with a purpose, and I feel like this is the right cause to be supporting. The initiative. So here are the t-shirts. 100% of all the profits from this campaign will go to Mental Helse, a mental health organization based in Norway working to increase the awareness and understanding of mental health problems, as well as the prevention of mental health issues and a better mental health service. I'm doing this very special debut clothing line in collaboration with YME, who I'll talk about more later in this video. The t-shirts are made in Portugal with amazing quality, and the pricing is $39 for each t-shirt. We ship worldwide, and we have one black one and we have one white t-shirt. It's unisex, which means it's designed for both females and males to wear, with a bit of an oversized fit. So I'm wearing a medium right now in these photos and right now, but I could probably have used a large one too. And to help with the sales, I'll be giving personal feedback on a song that you send in if you purchase the t-shirt within 72 hours of launch. You will then get a link where you can submit your music. There will only be 300 t-shirts available, and they will never be sold again. You can get them on the website in the description down below. The design. Some of you may have recognized where the design is from. It's taken from this shot from the Tell Me a Lie music video, and it symbolizes picking up the phone and talking to someone, reaching out and speaking up. It was designed with Nora Creatives, with the frame as point of reference, and final design was a symbiosis between me and YME. YME is my favorite clothing store in Norway. I've bought most of my clothes from there, and I have friends who work there in my home city Oslo. They really match my vision, they truly care about quality, and I trust them wholeheartedly. So it was a no-brainer to do this with them. Thank you. I don't mean to be too cliche, but I appreciate the YouTube channel, the Instagram and Discord that we have going on as a community. I love seeing how nice you are to each other, how you support each other, and I think it would be so cool if we managed to create a space where we can talk to each other honestly, talk about the difficult stuff, and be there for each other. Be human with each other. Mental health is extremely important, and I hope we can talk openly about it together here. Thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for watching.